Hi guys. Hi everybody. I'm just gonna move that for a sec. Okay. So there's this song by Michael Franti called "Say Hey, I Love You." And when I was a kid, we had the CD and we would play it in my family's car throughout my childhood. There's a line in this song that says, "The more I see, the less I know, but I know one thing, that I love you." When I was 4, I argued with my parents that the more I saw, the more I would know. I was certain of it. And as I got older, my 4-year-old self was proven disastrously wrong again and again. But nothing, and I mean nothing, confirmed for me how little I knew until I sat down and tried to write this speech. I wrote about 20 drafts and I kept getting stuck. I've lived the same amount as anyone else sitting up here today. What do you say to the people you've spent your entire life becoming a person with? I felt as though I was supposed to have something important to tell you, but all I have to say is this: I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work out. I don't know how to pay my taxes. I don't know what I want, and I don't know if we can inspire the change so many of us dream about. I don't know, but I have hope. I hope we all get the chance to be naive and stupid and reckless, to not know what the next step is, but to take it anyway. To take up space, to tell people what matters to us, to meet as many new people as possible and let them challenge us and teach us. Just yesterday, I was talking with a wise woman named Phyllis. You might know her as the ticket terror at the Rose Theater. I was talking to her about this speech, and she said to me, "When you believe you know everything, you have closed yourself off to learning, and therefore closed yourself off to opportunity." She said it clearer than I ever could, and it is these moments of connection that I think we all should strive for. I hope each of us can find something to care about, no matter what it is. Care about the ducks in the local pond or global climate change. Care about the potholes on your street. When we care, we're prompted to act. Everyone has something they believe could make the world better, and if we don't take action, nothing changes. I don't know if it'll work. I'll probably look back on this speech in 20 years and think, God, she was so naive. And that's exactly what I think we should strive for. There's no time to be idealist and hopeful, like right now. I wanted to end this speech the same way Franti ends the verse. I do know one thing. I'm really grateful to you, class of 2026. I want to say thank you for every embarrassing moment, every time you told me I was wrong, and every shared eye roll across the classroom. I'm grateful for the little moments with every single one of you. Sorry. So let's go have a kick-ass life, listen to some good music, and be okay not knowing. Thank you. Now we'll turn it. Now I'll turn it over to my co-salutatorian, one of the strongest, hardest working and most resilient people I know, Leah Ferlin. It's all right, we got it. Anyways. All right. Before I begin, I want to thank everyone in the audience who has supported the class of 2026, whether that be friends, family, coaches, or mentors. And I especially want to thank all of the teachers that are here tonight. I'm grateful for those who truly cared about my education, and others who treat every student with unconditional kindness and respect. And of course, I want to recognize the class of 26 for our resilience. Despite the many struggles we have faced over the years, I would like to acknowledge that the journey to get to this stage was not linear, instead unique for each student sitting behind me. This is perhaps the most uncertain time of our lives, and it's okay that the future isn't laid out neatly before us. Over the past few months, I've spent a lot of time reflecting, and if there's any conclusion I can draw about the past 4 years, it's that I spent too much time focusing on what was to come rather than what was happening around me.
Although I can say that my high school career came with many successes, I still spent an unreasonable amount of time procrastinating, obsessing over an idealized version of myself, and dreading the next day to come. It took me months of sleep deprivation and frantically juggling extracurriculars before someone important to me sat me down to say that there's no point in living a life that you're just trying to get through. This realization changed the way I wanted to carry myself in the next chapters of my life. I want to live every day with intention. I don't want today to be burdened by what will happen tomorrow. And to all of you, it is my deepest wish that the time you spend today is filled with love for others and for yourself. I hope that you make the active decision to treat every human being with compassion and respect. And I hope that today's current events do not fill you with fear, but with the courage to educate yourself and stand up for what you believe in. After today, the class of 2026 will go far into the world to find things that make our lives worth living. Every day we are given the opportunity to become better people, but it is only possible if we allow ourselves the grace to make mistakes and grow. I obviously don't have all the answers, and I don't really think anybody does. But if I can leave you with one idea, let it be this. Accept the moment that you're in, with the struggles that come with it, and above it all, be confident in your ability to overcome them. Thank you so much for your time. It is now my honor to introduce this year's valedictorian, the most brilliant and composed person I know, who also happens to be another one of my best friends, Helena Taylor Lenz.
I just want to take a moment to give thanks, to thank the amazing teachers who have taught, supported, and guided me the past 4 years, to thank my family and the people in this community who have watched as I grew very proudly, to thank the amazing people I've had the honor of being friends with, and most importantly, to thank my mother. If it weren't for many years locked in an intense battle of wills over my schoolwork, I wouldn't be standing here giving this speech to you. School never came easy for me. I'm dyslexic. I've always learned differently than my peers. I grew up thinking I was stupid. I was less than. I watched my classmates as they started to read. They seemed to hungrily devour the words on the pages, learning with a ferocity, while I squinted at my book, trying to make sense of the words as they squirmed over each other. When my classmates read aloud, the words would flow from their mouths as if it were second nature. When it was my turn, the letters seemed to skitter like insect legs over the pages. Over and over, I got the same message from friends, teachers, and administration, that I wasn't fast enough, smart enough, good enough. By the time I moved to Port Townsend in 6th grade, my self-confidence was in shambles. If you told me 7 years ago that I'd be standing here on the stage today, giving this speech to you, I would not have believed it. I'm only speaking as valedictorian tonight because I had people like my mother who believed in me and kept pushing me from the beginning. I'm here because of stubbornness, because I refuse to give up. I'm here because of hard work, and most importantly, I'm here because of a dream, a love, and a promise. Because this is a part of the path towards my future. I've been fortunate enough to watch as thunder and lightning split the sky, spilling tears onto the greedy desert earth. I've smelt the petrichor and the sweet seduction of cactus flowers, opening only once the moon kisses the stars. I've watched as sun dances through dappled leaves of the forest, lighting the world green gold. I've run my fingers across viper scales and through eagle feathers. I spent my childhood playing in the sharp embrace of the desert and my teenage years stalking through the trees, carefully watched by the forest. Around the world, I have witnessed beauty beyond compare, towering trees, emerald quetzals, jeweled beetles, and I found a love so deep for nature that I can't see any path for myself other than becoming a conservationist, a researcher. I made a promise that in a world full of pain and greed, in a world that puts money above life, I would be kind. I know I alone can never counter all of the bad in the world, but I can try. I can love the unlovable creatures. I can save the spider trapped inside instead of killing it. I can dedicate my life to conservation and do what I can to speak up for those who can't speak for themselves. I can spend hours picking frogs off the road in the rainy season, knowing I can't possibly save them all, but knowing that I couldn't bear the guilt of doing nothing at all, so I try anyways. Every A I have gotten, every night of studying before a test, every assignment I've done with intention. I want to ensure that people 100 years from now can also wander through great forests and watch monsoons thunder across vast deserts. I hope, the class of 2026, that you will join me. Go forward into life, into the world, and do good. I've watched as you've matured from a group of miscreant middle schoolers to some of the kindest, funniest, and most inclusive people I've ever met. I know change doesn't come easy. It's hard to step out of your comfort zone, to stand up for what you believe in, to inconvenience yourself for others. But I also know the people behind me are standing on the stage because they chose the hard path. I have been brought up with kindness. The kindness of my mother not giving up on me, even if some might have called me a lost cause. And I want to pass that kindness on to the world. So if there's one thing you take away from my speech, if there's one thing you take away from knowing me, it's this. Find your dream, work hard for it, and make a difference in the world, however small. Kindness and compassion, this is what the world needs more of, and this is what I see in the class of 2026. Now, it's my pleasure to welcome the next speaker chosen by our graduating class. Please welcome Adeline McMillan.
Good evening, staff, family, and fellow graduates. My name is Adeline McMillan, and today I hold the special honor of standing before you. One day, in I think 3rd grade, I was sent home with my progress report. Miss Polly, my homeroom teacher, wrote that I talked too much in class. It was at this moment that I finally learned the definition of a narc. No, really, I did talk too much. I talked about hobbies and pop culture. I even thought I could make conversation about the weather interesting. And as I'm sure the staff sitting in the front row can affirm, I never stopped talking. Because of my chattiness, my seat has probably been changed by a teacher millions of times. If I had a quarter for every time I got moved, I could pay for the school bonds. But as teachers moved me around the classroom from seat to seat, I always just made new friends. I learned a lot from those classroom conversations. Jack Cole patiently explained to me that robotics isn't actually a robot fight club, and no, he cannot turn it into one. Connor Micah tried to teach me how to code, and while I still don't know how, I did learn not to charge my math book past 80% in order to sustain battery life. Rylan Cruz taught me it is possible to be friends with your family. It just takes an incredible amount of effort. Anna Cole taught me to handle situations with optimism and determination, and to never own a Volkswagen Jetta. Alex Garfias taught me day trading, and that I should always use the link in his bio to invest money. Grady White taught me to never give up on something. And even though Tottenham has 434 losses, they could still win it all. Emilio Lopez taught me to never pull out of a bet, even when the odds are stacked against you. And finally, Hayden Mason taught me what true friendship is. As we graduate, it is inevitable you will find yourselves in rooms full of people you don't know. And when this happens, I urge you to not only notice the person sitting next to you, but start a conversation with them. Tell a poorly timed joke, say something stupid, or even compliment their shoes. Conversations are not always measured by their substance. The intention counts too. I feel so extremely lucky that my high school experience was colored by 108 extremely singular people who I got to know. And when we're at a legal age, I would be happy to sit next to any of you again, grab a beer, and have a conversation. Thank you.